I bring you special greetings here on a Pan-African Drive here on Teledar TV. Of course, it remains a platform that is meant to inspire and motivate the current generation of young Africans in the actualization of their respective dreams, preaching the message of peace and national unity, as well as revitalizing the Africanization policy that speaks about good governance, social justice, democracy, human rights, and most importantly, the African unity. Like I normally say to you, until Africans learn to own their own problems, find their own solutions, they won't be able to write their own stories. And that's the essence of the Pan-African Drive here, building bridges between and amongst Africans in every ramification. And for today's edition of this Pan-African Drive today, we are very privileged to be in a one-on-one conversation with a bright mind of the Gambian nation who has appeared on the platform before, and he's going to be here. He's here today again to offer his expertise on what I call strategies for the sustainability for Africa's democracy, because we need to strategize if we expect our democracy to be sustained. If you look around the world today, there are conflictual arrangements all over the place. So what happens to the African continent? We need to be independent, we need to be free, we need to be sustained in terms of our democratic values and dividends, and that is what we are here today. And we'll take a quick break, and once we will have returned, I present to you my guest, Mr. Modu Naban, who is going to be talking with me here on the Pan-African Drive.
Scan the QR code and register on My Official app, and boom, you get 1 gigabyte free instantly. Just scan, download, register, and enjoy. Check your balance, browse bundles, send and receive money instantly, pay bills in seconds, anytime, anywhere.
Welcome back from that short break. Just like I said, we are super honored and very privileged to be in a one-on-one conversation with our Gambian writer, a classroom lecturer, and as well as a social and political commentator, Mr. Modu Naban, who is here to speak on the Pan-African Drive on a very crucial topic that has to do with the strategies in the sustainability of Africa's democracy. Should I say welcome on this platform for the second time, Mr. Naban?
Yeah, I'm so happy and pleased to be again in this platform on African Drive.
Okay, we're super honored to have you here as well.
Wonderful.
How is Ramadan going with you?
Yeah, we are hitting on it.
Okay, mashallah, that's a very good one. That's the voice there of my guest as he's seated with me on this 1 hour drive on a Pan-African Drive here today. Quickly, you were on this platform once, but for purpose of our diverse audience across several quarters of the African continent, I want you to drive us through who is Mr. Naban from a professional and academic background, sir.
Wonderful. As I said quickly, my name is Modu Naban. I am a teacher by profession, a trained teacher for that matter, and I specialize in English language and literature. And likewise, when I was at IOU, I did Islamic civilization. On the side of education, I did bachelor's in education. So as I am here now, I am a senior school teacher, teaching English and literature at the senior school level. Also, I'm a political activist. I involve in politics. I write. I am an author, by the way. So just to make it well summarized, that is Mr. Naban.
Okay, that's a very great one there. You heard from him right. It's going to be interesting in the next 1 hour. So get set. Those of you watching us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, this is the Pan-African Drive here. And your likes, shares, comments, and analysis make us a better media outlet. And because in the absence of your support and viewership, there is no Teledar TV, because we are here as a watchdog for you from the masses, between the masses and national government. So we need your support always. And be reminded that this edition of the Pan-African Drive is proudly sponsored by AfriCell, the most valuable and important, accessible GSM service provider in the Gambia. So tap into them and get afforded with all of the different opportunities can provide for you. A quick teaser just outside of the topic of discussion. I listened to Zimbabwean artist, he did a song called Ceasefire. In that music, I picked a few lines. In the few lines, I wrote them down, and it says, "Too much smoke cover the skyline. Too many tears fly like grain. Time to cool the flames. Time to change the game. Ceasefire, stop the war." And that song was just recently done in relations to the global conflictual arrangements around all over the place, fires and insurgency, banditry, wars, civil wars, and what have you. And how crucial are these lines in terms of a ceasefire, keep the cool and change the flame, change the game, and a ceasefire and stop the war? How crucial are these words?
It seems very poetic, but it has a deep meaning.
Okay.
Because to make it easy for you, it is better to win peace than to win war.
Okay.
Because you cannot win a war. So the best thing is to win peace. And you cannot win peace when bullets are flying.
Okay.
You have to come to a round table and discuss about your differences.
Dialogue, not confrontation.
Exactly, not confrontation.
Okay.
So it's a matter of cooperation into a table, and you all discuss about your differences, look for solutions, decipher the real solutions to those matters so that they cannot arise again.
Okay.
And that is the only way to win peace, rather than to win a war, because nobody wins war.
That's a great one there from you. Somebody says that the falling of dried leaves is a warning to the new ones that one day they could potentially fall.
Yes.
If you took note of what is happening around the United States, Israel, and Iran right now, is terrific.
Definitely.
And it also sends a song about what the Italian philosopher Nicholas Machiavelli says, that the globalized society will continue to be in conflictual arrangements where greater powers will continue to invade lesser powers, so to speak, not any disregard to Iran as a lesser power, so to speak. We know this is a Pan-African drive. But looking at Africa as a continent, as powerful as Iran is, currently being invaded by the United States and Israel respectively, sent a signal to the African continent of our vulnerability. It goes along with the speaks about how exposed we are as a continent, but what can we do to protecting ourselves in our own political and economic cocoon so that our system is not infiltrated. So that we do not fall prey to some of those negative, unwholesome functioning in society. What can we do as a continent?
Yes, as a continent, we must all accept the fact that we are Africans. And we need to go by the natural dictates of our environment, our continent, rather than to be imitating the West. Because there is nothing artificial that beats the natural way in cultures and ideals of life. So what is more important is Africans to come back to their senses and say, we are Al-Qiblan, this natural or original name according to Sheikh Anta Diop, that the real name of Africa, this continent, it is not Africa, it is Al-Qiblan. Because if you said Africa, that means we are wearing a helmet that is not ours. So we have to wear a helmet that belongs to us. And that should be deep-rooted in our culture and tradition, our norms and values. So African in general, we must look for knowledge, wisdom, to be contented, to selflessness, not selfishness, but selflessness. And then the fifth one, discipline. When we concatenate all these values together and we work towards it, I think Africa will be its own.
That's a great one here for you quickly. We go quickly into the topic proper, strategies in sustainability for Africa's democracy. If you do a survey across our continent, you will realize that there are actions and inactions that are outside the confines of democracy. You don't need to look too far. You look at the Sahel states, military takeovers, and because of lack of democratic dividends, you go to Chad, you go to Niger Republic, you go to the Congo, you go to Cameroon, you go to Nigeria, several quarters of Africa that is still operating outside the confines of our democratic values. In terms of our continent's democratic sustainability, what do you think are the missing puzzles that are undermining the enhancement or growth of Africa's democracy in terms of its sustainability? What's our challenge?
Yes, first of all, you mentioned Sahel countries. And if you look at Africa as a continent, including the Middle East, North Africa, that's the time I normally love, that is North Africa instead of Middle East. Okay, if you look, you can see there are two aspects. There are people who the enemy is fighting them. And there are people, the enemy is clapping for them. So if an enemy clap for you, you should not dance. You can shake your head, but you should not dance. Look at African continent. The leaders that the West are praising are the ones that are worse in African continent. That means they are dancing to the tune of the West.
Okay.
But the leaders that the West are pressurizing, are pointing at them, being hostile to them, those are the leaders that are good towards us.
When you mentioned it, it drove my mind to Samora Machel, the late president of Mozambique. He says, anytime you hear the West praise me, know that I have betrayed my people.
And that's the reality.
Okay.
But just coming back to the topic, to the sustainability of our democracy.
Okay.
It is simple. I am telling you, there are more than thousands and thousands of theories written by authors across Africa. But the fact of the matter, we have to drill it down to three things. Number one, we should have the legal aspect, which is corresponding to constitutionalism. We should have our structure, which is corresponding to decentralization. And we have the last point, which is the social aspect. We should be attached to what? To inclusion. So these three pillars, if we go by them in spirit and in letter, Africa will stand on its feet.
Mr. Naban, I want you to simplify for the layman in Brufut, Santos, or Kiamandua, or all the various communities so that they understand deeper. And
wonderful.
Three pillars.
Let's look at the legal aspect. That is the legal framework, including the knowledge base. People need to be well educated, number one. Not only that, they need to have wisdom, experience, awareness, discipline, and selflessness in order to take care, to protect, because the legal aspect is so jealous. There must be justice, and people cannot establish justice who are not just themselves, who are also ignorant, who did not have experience, because there are a lot of dimensions surrounding the law. The law is a very sensitive area. So people who should be in charge of that, they should have a lot of attributes, characters that should give them the guidance in order to preserve that aspect.
Moral uprightness.
Moral uprightness. That is one aspect. When you come to the institutions, I used to say something. I said, Africa needs men that are man enough, and they need institutions that are instituted enough. Because imagine, when you do professional development, you will realize that they said in order to be a professional in any working place, you should have two things. And then a bicycle is given as an example. Because if you are riding a bicycle, I cannot imagine riding a bicycle with one pedal. It has to be two.
Of course.
So in an institution where you have the knowledge base and you have the character, that institution will move. But if you have the knowledge, no character, the institution will not move. If you have the character, you don't have the knowledge, the institution will not move. So just like example of a bicycle. When you are riding it, it has to be this way and that way in order to move forward. So all these two things, they are all fundamental. They are so important and paramount that we cannot afford to lose any one of them. So Africa needs that in order to sustain our democracy. We need the knowledge base and we need the attitude aspect, the character. That is one aspect.
In terms of integrity.
Exactly. So when you come down to the structural level, of course, we need to decentralize a lot of our things. Because otherwise, how can the last ladder climb in order to reach that position to meet the legal aspect or the highest people up there? So it has to be interconnection from the legal framework down to the social structures which are decentralized and coming down to the social aspect, which is, you have to include them to be part of it in order for democratization or the democratic values to survive. From the grassroots level down to the top, and from the top coming down to the grassroots level.
You talk about grassroots, which is a very crucial area that I was going to ask you. Do the masses, the downtrodden masses of the African population have a crucial role in the enhancement, or should I say, sustainability of all Africa's democracy? How crucial are we?
It is very crucial, very important, and very consequential for that matter, that the masses Without the masses, there will be no government. There will be no government.
Okay.
Because if you look at the definition of a state,
okay.
we say a state is a group of people living together in a defined territorial area and under one authority.
Okay.
Now, the people under one authority have to come together and unite, have common values and common commitment. That's the time they will choose a leader. That leader should be accountable
Okay.
to that population, that masses. So the masses need lot of mechanism in them.
Okay.
People who are critically minded, people who are rational, people who have experience.
Okay.
Just like all these good characters that I have just mentioned
Okay.
should be in the broad base towards the masses. It should be available to them so that at any given moment, they will question the authorities about things that they're supposed to do and things that they're supposed not to do.
Okay.
So therefore, the grassroots level, the masses is so paramount, is so important.
Okay, that's a very strong one there from you, from my guest here, Mr. Naban. If you follow us on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, we say this is a Pan-African Drive with me, Tony Michael Howard, CKA News Secretaries, and I'm here with Mr. Naban as he offers his expertise in the area of governance, democracy in Africa in terms of its sustainability. Quickly, the fourth estate, which happens to be the media institutions, how crucial is our position in the enhancing of our democratic value as a continent?
Media is very important there.
Okay.
I don't know whether there is another word. It is so pertinent, extra important.
Okay.
Because media, they are the body of professionals, I should say,
Okay.
that are charged with the responsibility to inform the masses with the credible information.
Okay.
I always say this. I said, human mind is the information is the food of human mind.
Okay.
Without the information to feed the human mind, the human mind will go into the wilderness of speculation.
Okay.
And that is very important. And media is responsible for that, to give us the credible information. Now, if the media who's supposed to give us the credible information, they are not independent enough, then they will always give us one side of the story.
Okay.
All the time, when they speak, we will realize that the whole story is not being narrated. And that is creating more problems than solution.
Okay.
So, as I said, the media is very important. They should be the one to wake people from their slumber.
Okay.
Because in this generation, we are very lucky, but also very unfortunate, where every Tom, Dick, and Harry can go to the media outlet, social media, and say, this is what is happening.
Okay.
Analyze his own point of view. But if there is no credible source who are charged with the responsibility to say, no, this is not the correct version, this is the correct version, then we will be in a great trouble.
Okay.
So that's
So
the
you
point.
think the media has got a huge responsibility?
They have huge responsibility, and on top of that, they need to be independent.
Okay.
Because I always say, media personals, if you don't fear, the principle should be, if you don't fear to deliver, don't deliver to fear.
Will you just mind to just simplify that?
Of course, yes. You know, as somebody responsible of taking out information,
Okay.
if you don't fear at all to take out any information, then there must be one principle. That is, you are truthful, you are factual.
Okay.
So you don't fear to take it out. But after taking it out, there should not be any consequence.
Okay.
You should not have any penalty over that.
Okay.
So, who are most of the people who are the ones that attack media whenever truth is out by any media personnel? It is number one, the government or the opposition or special business tycoons. That you take out certain information about their company that people need to know so that they can fight for their rights, but you wouldn't like it.
No, actually.
So, who should protect the media? It's two people.
Okay.
The masses should protect the media and the government.
The government.
And the government should do it on behalf of the masses, because masses are the source of power.
Okay.
But to light the ways, it is the government. It's just like the generator and the bulbs.
Okay. You talked about the government. I will want to draw you. Let's narrow down to the specifics of the Gambia. Yeah, Jammeh left back in 2016. You had the emergence of President Adama Barrow in leadership. So we have democracy now. If you were to do your own assessment, a very objective assessment of the Gambian democratic space.
Yes.
Would you say there have been a massive level of improvement, or are there other rooms for improvement in the sustainability of our democracy? If yes, what are those angles?
Yeah, honestly, to be candid, today we have more democratic principles than yesterday.
Okay.
When I say yesterday, I just mean the second dispensation after Sir Dawda, because Sir Dawda was a champion of democracy.
Okay.
But after Sir Dawda, when we, from 1994, let me just say 1997, when we have our constitution, 1997 constitution, down the line to 2016, nobody can say for certain then there was no democracy. Because if we go by the definition of democracy, of course there is an iota of it. For example, yes, democracy is the government of the people, by the people and for the people. These three phrases, the of the people, that government should be a representative government. We have that. By the people and the government should be side by side. Whatever the people want, they come to the government. Whatever the government want, they come to the people. That is there. Or for the people, it is there for us. Every 5 years, we can choose who should be there. But the general application of these democratic principles are being abused. So when we come in 2016, that Adam Barrow becomes the president, from down that point up to now, there are some improvements. We have certain, at least independence or freedom of the media. People can have their political views. They can invite ministers to medias and question them. Even though there are rooms for improvement, but at least we have improved. To be candid, the honest opinion is at least we have improved. Until now, that improvement should be channeled by the masses, because they are the source of power. They are the one to make the government accountable. Because if people fold their hands and did not talk, the democratization and the media independence and all aspects of democratic principles will dwindle down. And that is so bad for us.
That's a great one. We are enjoying the ride here on Teledar TV on a Pan-African Drive with my guest here, Mr. Naban here, who is offering his piece on the strategies for sustainability of Africa's democracy. And there is no better place than Teledar TV and on the Pan-African Drive here. Quickly, if you were to design the anatomy of Africa's sustainability of its democracy, what would be a roadmap? What are the ladders we've got to climb in ensuring that our democracy is sustained? Because we actually in crisis in several quarters of the African continent, and most of these crises are total departure from the doctrines of our democratic values.
First of all, I'll make a total halt of our educational system. Because if people are not properly educated, they will not be independent in their mind, in their thinking. So that needs to be addressed.
Looked at.
Look at it. Because otherwise, in fact, this is the reason why, if people are not independent in their thinking, they are not independent, they don't have economic freedom, because education will take you to economic freedom. If you don't have that, you will be a slave under somebody. This idea of big manship. We have no choice, but we have to go because of our stomach. So when the democracy is drilled down to stomach democracy, where people feel that if my stomach is full, I am okay, that is too bad. So if Africa need to have a roadmap, first of all, the overall halt of our educational system, where we sit down, our intellectuals should sit down and say, what do we need in the next 50 years, 100 years? How do we want Africa to look like? What type of skills do we need? It is very disappointing, Mr. Marke, where we can see our senior secondary school, agriculture is not compulsory, but English language is compulsory.
What an irony.
Look at that.
That's a foreign language.
And agriculture, which is supposed to be the backbone of African economy, is not compulsory. So students feel that agriculture is a useless subject.
It's nothing.
But English is core, is key. If you don't pass English, you cannot have a ticket to enter university.
Wow.
You cannot even look at the corridors of university without English language.
Not at all.
So what is that? So the total whole of educational system should be my first priority. Number two, when that happens, we have to inject what we call the skill development.
Okay.
The skill
Yes.
should be, people should be able to learn skill. At the end of the day, let them employ themselves.
Okay.
You will see the workplaces where people tie their neck and sit down in the office will not be saturated. But look at now. Offices are saturated.
Of course.
Every office you go, you have the secretary, you have the assistant secretary, you have the waiting secretary. They are all playing the same role.
Yes.
So it has been saturated because there are no skills to do outside.
No skills acquisition.
You just have a mere degree, I should say. Very sorry to anyone who has a degree.
It's
It is
okay.
not that I'm belittling it. I'm just trying for us to focus,
Okay.
rethink African.
Because you also have a degree as well.
Of course. So it's not a mockery, but it's
Okay.
just to say, look, it is high time we forget about this book learning.
Oh, yes.
We learn the book in order to derive some wisdom
Okay.
so that we can produce what will give us sustainability. Look at it today. Is there any African country that is 100% independent economically and academically? We always need outside force to come and help, which is so bad. Today, look at the globalization. Any country that have nukes, America did not play with you, will never play with you. Look at the countries.
Of course.
Any country that give off of nukes, America will play with you.
Step in.
But why? Because to build nukes, you don't only need money. You need knowledge.
Of course.
You need knowledge base. That technological knowledge base, that's what you need. So if you go to a school where English is compulsory, but agriculture is not compulsory, skills are not even introduced in our schools. So how long are we going to take in order for Africa to be on the right track? It will be very difficult.
It'll be difficult.
It will be very difficult. So it is high time we sacrifice. I said this in my last interview. I said, one man die, save the nation. That one man there represent all of us. We should sacrifice to die so that we can save this continent, so that the country can get back its glory as Al-Qiblan instead of Africa.
This message you speak here were actually the voices of previous pioneers that are in their respective graves. May their souls and the souls of all faithful departed rest in the arms of the Lord. And they would have thought that several years after those proclamations on the essence of Africans taking their destiny in their own hands would have been materialized. But unfortunately, we are still in a syndrome of war dependency.
Yes.
And this dependency syndrome is now drawing us into being puppets.
Yes.
Where we beg for almost everything.
I'm telling you.
And such begging syndrome exposes us to the infiltration of our system. Where did we get it wrong?
We get it wrong from the beginning, I should say. Because when the enemy is running around, who let it run around? It is you that the enemy is running around. So Africa needs collaboration. They need to talk to each other. They need to support each other in time of difficulty. But that is not happening. That is why the enemy have a room to destroy one aspect of African fabric. Because let's assume that Gaddafi is in Africa.
Okay.
Libya is in Africa, because at the later part, he sees himself as a Pan-African.
Okay.
But look at, when Gaddafi was under this trouble, how many African leaders voice out? How many African leaders say, all right, if Gaddafi need to go, let us all go?
Yeah. Let me give you
In fact, there is a bunch of African presidents who feel that they need to go to Libya, and then they had a call from NATO to say, stop, do not go. They should have said, even we will die, or let them come back and prepare their military and return.
Yes.
To say, let us all die there, but this is enough of this.
Yes.
It is never going to
We have
happen.
to step in.
But no, our African giants in the past, the same thing, history is repeating itself. And posterity will pass the judgment, because history is recording a lot of things and we are not forgetting. Look at Patrice Lumumba. He was assassinated because he wanted the Belgians to be independent in their mind, in their resources, in everything. The colonialists said no. They succeeded in assassinating him. What about the contemporary leaders at that time? What did they do?
They were kept quiet.
They were kept quiet. Deep in their heart, they did not like it, but they don't want to face the same consequence. But they should sacrifice. If the enemy is tired, he would stop. And that's the time we can come together and unite.
You talk about unison, which is the essence of this very platform, the Pan-African Drive, and you talk about the essence for a collaborating spirit between and amongst Africans. And it draws my attention to the regional blocks of the continent. You look at the ECOWAS, you look at the African Union, so to speak. These institutions are becoming like just mere organizations who lack the requisite implementation of skills in actually securing our democracy on the continent. What do you think is the issue?
Too bad. The ECOWAS example as a regional bloc represented, they say countries, but actually it's not countries. It is individual presidents of different countries come together and form it. And they have the veto power to do whatever they want to do, in as much as the West dictated it. They will never do anything that the West did not dictate. So my opinion is presidents should not have anything to do with ECOWAS. ECOWAS should be a big institution, an African mercenary system that can be bold enough and said, no, this is not going to happen in this African continent.
But who should lead that? If the leader should not be the president, then who should lead that?
Yeah, for example, we should have competent people that should lead that, who are empowered by those governments. That's why we should not have puppet governments. We should have governments as leaders who are there who feel that it is not us, it is we. This idea of us is a problem. What about we? So that we can all benefit. Because if it is we, it will be in the interest of all of us. But if it is us, it's just talking about few minority people. And that's the problem. If country A did something and the regional bloc cannot correct it, country B will do it, C will do it. And if D did it and the West is not in favor of the West, that's the time they start getting up to correct that situation. But what about correct number 1, number 2, number 3 before you go to number 5? That's the problem going on. This is the problem we are facing. So Africans should say, look, it is high time. It is far too long. For many years ago, we are still repeating the same thing. Is it high time to act? It is high time to act. If not, we are not going anywhere. And then our grandchildren will come and blame us, as we are blaming today our forefathers. We are blaming them. They said they should have done this, they should have done this, they should have done this. So there should be, before independent African nations to have separate independence in the past, they should have unity first and demand for total independence. Then today we would have one continent under one umbrella. But that did not happen.
One continent under one umbrella. This is the Pan-African Drive. Here with me, Tony Michael Howard, and Mr. Naban happens to be my guest as he speaks with me on the sustainability strategies for Africa's democracy. You're talking about independence, you're talking about stability and unity, so to speak. How do we reconcile the sustainability of our democracy when you have leaders into positions of authorities that monopolize the entire system? For instance, back in 1986, when Yoweri Kaguta Museveni took over, one of his first proclamations was that one of the greatest issues of the African continent is leaders who entrench themselves. Since 1986, he's still the president of Uganda, and opposition do not even have the liberty to express themselves. You go to Togo today, Faure Iyadema has suspended the constitution, the term limits in the constitutions, monopolizing the leadership all to himself. How do we reconcile the sustainability of our democracy?
This is a problem. I will have to repeat that knowledge is important, but character is important, wisdom, honesty, contentment. We need African men that are man enough. Because if you don't have these qualities, you are not a man. Just like Bob Marley said, many men claim to be men, but men are few. Because there are characteristics that make you a man. If you don't have that, you are not a man. So Africans, I think This is not an insult. We lack men that are men enough. Or shall I say, we lack men that are men enough who's supposed to be in that helm of leadership. Because there could be a man sitting down there who is man enough, he has honesty, integrity, good character, knowledge, wisdom, but he did not have the opportunity to be there.
Okay.
So the masses have a great responsibility not to pick and choose anybody who is popular or famous. Because Africa, what we have seen so far, people excel to leadership position because of two things. Because they are popular and because they are famous.
I'm going to hold you right here. We're going to take our first break right now because of time, and after we will have returned, we continue this conversation here on a Pan-African Drive here, and we're talking about what I call the sustainability strategies for the African democracy. We'll take our short break and we'll come back shortly.
We've got fantastic new social media bundles just for you. Here are your options.
50 megabytes for $10 is valid for 1 day.
Enjoy 400 megabytes for $40, valid for 7 days.
Get a massive 1,200 megabytes for $100 is only, valid for 7 days.
Simply dial *120# and press 3 to pick the social media bundle that suits you best. Subscribe now.
Why settle for one when you can talk with two? With the Africell TOK service. For just $99, you get a massive 1,200 minutes of talk time to share between your two favorite people. To activate, dial *135#, select your two Africell numbers, and you're locked in for a full month of conversations. Africell, connecting you to your peoples.
Welcome back from that short break. Shortly, just before we talk break, you were talking about Africans picking and choosing their leaders. Would you love to give a clarity to that very statement?
Yes, you know, when we said democracy, we said it is defined as the best form of government because it gives citizens their opportunity to exercise their right.
Okay.
But this exercising of rights, it should not only be limited the right to vote or to be voted.
Okay.
It should not be only that. It should be choosing somebody who is knowledgeable, who is contented, who has experience, who has honesty, these good characters that we call national values today. You should see it in somebody in order to vote for him. If there is somebody who is not popular, but you recognize these qualities in him, approach him, encourage him to come into politics so that he can take a leadership role. We need such people, not to choose people who are merely popular or merely famous.
Okay.
This is not taking us anywhere. Because the characters that we need in order to move any institution are good characters, not mere oratory to be able to speak, to be able to talk, to be able to cajole people. No, that's not the... Because at the end of the day, when we have such leaders, people only have a responsibility of listening, the kumbaya way of listening. Just a mere listening to be entertained.
Okay.
Clap, eat, and go to bed. And that is nothing.
Mr. Naban, this nation, so I refer to it as my nation as well, from the African perspective.
Right.
Goes, the nation of Gambia goes to the polls on the 5th of December, where opportunity is going to be provided to the masses to, choose a leader of their choice.
Yes.
How crucial is the 5th of December elections and in the enhancement of our democratic values of this country?
It is very important. And we have a lot of key players. And number one key player is the Independent Electoral Commission.
Okay.
Because if you know the history of this country, right from Jammeh's era up to now, the electoral history, you realize that there are a lot of shortcomings in the side of the Independent Electoral Commission. Okay. So they need to take their number one responsibility in order to hold free and fair elections.
Somebody seated on the sound of a voice will be challenged with wanting to know what you mentioned about shortcomings. What are some of the tangible evidence you can point out to indicate shortcomings in previous elections?
For an example, in 2016, the Basse administrative area was counted twice. And when it was counted twice, that double counting was added to Jammeh's vote, to UDP coalition, the coalition votes, and to Mama Kande's vote. And later on, when it was realized, it was corrected, but it mounted to a point whereby Jammeh feels suspicious and say, how comes?
It sent a negative signal.
And then because of that reason alone, we have a political impasse in the Gambia. Jammeh said, and Jammeh
that was a singular reason why he rejected the results after previously accepting it.
Exactly. Because that is a red flag. Why did you announce a result? After 2 days, you call stakeholders and say, well, we had an error. It should be this, it should not be this. First of all, the key players will say, okay, we cannot take this at face value. We have to dip into it and see what exactly happened. And there was no time for that. So Jammeh said the only thing is to say, okay, I reject the results. And that's one thing. But down the line, there was a time one of the councillors, I think is in London Corner, Tobaski CB, and then the opponent. We celebrated that Tobaski CB won. Later on, the IE said, no, it is that guy who won. So there are a lot of abnormalities. At 2020, after 2022, 23 election, around Kuntao, the same thing happened between UDP and GMC. So the Independent Electoral Commission should be very careful. Maybe they are honest enough to do their job, but they need a lot of training with gadgets that can be used. That is one important thing. Another important thing, which is very important, that is the messages that flow from the oppositions and from the ruling party. It should not be based on tribalism. It should not be based on sentiments. It should be based on facts and figures that the taxpayers, the voters, that is what they want to hear. I'm not interested to tell me A, B, and C are fullers or are mandinkas. It is not my business. I want you to tell me, why do you want me to give you the opportunity, my voice and power? Because the card, the voters card represent two things. I'm giving you my voice to speak on my behalf. And I'm giving you my economic power because I'm paying tax. Add these two together and you act on my behalf. Tell me, if I give you that, how will you act on my behalf? How will you build institutions like schools that my children can go there and have a better education? How will you be able to create an opportunity for my kids tomorrow that if they graduate, they can have a good job? How? How will you be able to develop the agricultural sector? So that farmers in Kauntaur or Kalkajara can understand that, look, these people deserve to be there. But it should not be only a mere of storytelling and clapping. That is so sad. And it's like this is synonymous to all African countries. People don't talk about policies, but they talk about sentiments. They talk about tribalism. They talk about supremacy of certain ideologies in order to mislead the barrage of the society.
Those of you that are watching us in Nigeria, especially the Western Nigeria, I say to you, that is, thank you so dearly much for supporting us. That's Yoruba speaking region of all Nigeria. To southeastern part of the country that are dominating the Igbos, I say to you, one name the number Ikaraka EGM, Chuku Abiyama, Amama Amasi Amasi Oshiminia Tata, Ekueme, Chuku Kike, Odoku Akataka, strengthening all of you. Wherever you are on the sound of my voice, to the northern part of the country that is dominantly Islamic, and I say to you, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To French-speaking nations of the continent, I say to you, merci de vous supporter. That's thanks for supporting us. And to my friends in Botswana, I say to you, readable helabo, Lintin Jaharu, that is the Southern African people. And we say, Sanibonani Mzanzi, Geya Nebengele, La Inquazulu Neta. To the Swahili-speaking nations of all, Nairobi, Kenya, and Tanzania, Zanzibar, I will say to you, Asante, Kumnasara, when you quit to see, it's time for supporting us. To the Pela people in Liberia, that say to you, Kasai Adama. To Sierra Leone, I say to you, Unakushio. To Gambians, to say Jedejif. We won't ever forget you. I will never forget you because of your support to the viewership of the Pan African Drive on all Teledar TV here. Back to you, Mr. Naban. Sticking to the Gambian Democracy Party, especially December 5th elections, you spoke on the part of election or electoral commission's responsibility in ensuring that the election is free, fair, and transparent in terms of correcting the errors, perhaps subconscious or conscious error. Do you have any areas of improvement that you think that electoral commission can improve outside these points that you mentioned?
Well, hope is not dead. We are hopeful because they come up with certain, should I say, certain changes, certain adjustments. The former chairman of IEC is retired now. That is Ali Momorinjai. Is aged. And they bring somebody who seems to be a neutral person. The second in the second in command. The Jallo fellow seems to be a neutral person. We have not known him within the political spectrum of this country. Such a person can be trusted. But the boss today was the one deputizing Ali Momorinjai. Well, the people that I spoke to, they told me we give him a chance. At that time, he was deputizing. Now he's the boss. He must learn his lessons. And we trust that. So we are waiting for him to do a good job, because that is good for him, is good for the country. Because in the interest of the Gambian people, in which we all committed ourselves, we should all feel that, yes, this is what needs to be done, so that we can be at peace.
Back when the free slaves were returned to Africa's oldest republic, Mama Liberia, one of them, Elijah Johnson, upon arrival, he says, "For too long have I searched for a home. Here have I found one, and here would I remain."
Yes.
That means Africa was the home that was being searched for.
Yes.
If you were to do a comparative analysis in relation to that proclamation or statement by Elijah Johnson of Liberia, doing a comparative analysis of the economic strength of Africa, the political strength or educational strength, so to speak, would you say Africans are feeling at home, or will feel at home, or are not feeling at home at all?
Well, Africans are feeling at home, but in the negative aspect. Because why?
How do I feel at home in a negative sense?
Yes, because if youths, because the cream of every society is the youths. The youths are very important. If youths do not feel at home, then what's the point? Because every youth that you ask today, because when we judge a system, we judge a system by the whole. Not each and every youth in this continent. No, I don't mean that. I mean majority of the youths today.
Of this continent.
If you ask them, compare Banjul and London or UK, where do you want to go? They'll say UK.
The answer is going to be simple.
Banjul is his home, but he don't feel comfortable to be in Banjul. Who does that? It's the system. So the system needs to be corrected. The system is rotten to the core. So if the youths have no hope in their homes, where they cannot even have the right choice of their wife because of, let's say, poverty, because of the way you live, the way you dress, no correct education. So your mind would be, if A, B, and C can make it and they build mansions because they went to Europe, let me also go. So you see what happened? The youths of Africa, they conquer something. They conquer fear. They defeated fear. That is why they were able to pass through the Mediterranean Sea to the west. But if they had defeated the same fear of staying here and fight against the status quo, then today we would have been developed by now. So the youths, congratulations to the youths, because they defeated fear. That is why they have the audacity to cross the Mediterranean Sea. But I said that's not the end. Let us also try to defeat the same fear about the status quo of our countries, different countries. There is a system that is rotten to the core. We need to change it. We need to change it. How can we change it? We have to come together as one. Make education as our priority. The right education. That is why sometimes you don't even know where to begin, because the education system needs to change. Who should change it?
Across the continent.
Who should change it? It is we. Not long ago, I have seen I read a caption on the newspaper, standard newspaper, I think. The Ministry of Education are trying to inject in some languages, local languages, so that we can learn maths, technology in our local language.
I think that's a step in the right direction.
That is a step in the right direction.
Okay.
But for far too long, today, we have Nko language. We have Adlam, the Fula.
Okay.
We have dictionary for it. We have books for it. Both Fula and Mandinka and Wolof as well.
Okay.
And I know other tribes, ethno-linguistics also can create the same thing. It is high time, and I am telling you, if we don't do it now, I am on record. If we don't do it now, we will fail. But the real blacks, when they come, they will do it.
Who do you refer to as the real black?
The real blacks. There will be blacks in the future who will come, who will feel that enough is enough. We are going to do away with this educational system right away, and we develop ours from scratch. Because actually we are not blacks. Today we are not blacks. We have blacks, but mentally, at the back of our mind,
we're not thinking black.
We're not thinking
African.
Dr. Kizinja, in one of his books, he said this. Last time I repeated it, that our educational system, the concept, our reproductive system, if we control that, because if we control the educational system, we will be able to hypnotize them. We will be able to mesmerize them. We will be able to put something in them that they would believe, which is not true. Then if we do that, let us try to contain them so that their population will not move. So we take care of their reproduction system. All these immunizations, there are concepts behind it. Either you like it or not. That's the reality. Then if they are able to succeed in that, then the wealth under our land, that's the time they will be able to grab that, because they have already controlled our mindset. And they did not only do it to Africans, they also do it to the Arab world. In 1974, the same Dr. Kizinja went to King Faisal and tell him, from now on, I want the petrodollar negotiation, where all the oil you have at the world market, you have to buy it through dollar. But if it is Riyadh, that will allow the Middle East countries that have oil to also have economic freedom. But today, all their monies are going to World Bank. So if you want to take even 50% of it, they said, what are you going to do with it? Perhaps we suspect you want to start sponsoring terrorism. That is how they contain them. So it's the same thing. What they did to the Arabs, that's what they did to us. But we are the worst, because we are sitting on about more than 30% of the world wealth. Africans are sitting on that.
Yet we are still the poorest.
And yet we are poor. So Africa is not poor by principle. We are poorly managed by our leaders.
Because we've never lacked legislation. The laws are always there, but the implementation aspect has been a challenge.
The implementation is the problem.
Something is happening. We're going to divert a little bit, but not a deeper diversion. Recently, I saw the Donald Trump administration making a proposal to the governor for Botswana, to President Boko, where they're going to give close to millions and millions of dollars to support his government. But then in response, he has to give some data about the health status of all citizens of all Botswana. And Burkina Faso will also communicated to. And then Ibrahim Traoré is giving the conversation of thoughts, where the U.S. is going to support your system, but then there are data on the health status of your citizen, maybe key diseases, and so to speak. The information has to be given to the U.S. government, so to speak. To what extent is that deeper into affecting us as a continent of people? Because it's not safe.
The West should not be trusted, because, you know, even this COVID-19 originated somewhere from them. The problem is, we should be alert with sugar-coated information. The West are giving sugar-coated information, but deep inside, there are elements that will destroy us. As I said, when the enemy clap for you, don't dance. Shake your head and move on. But if you dance, while you are dancing, he'll go behind in your room and do whatever he wants to do, because you are enjoying yourself. So you will be amazed to understand that how we are being fooled in several ways. Because look at it. In those days, you ask elders, who were here, there are certain diseases they didn't know. Any disease that emerge among them, they have a solution for it.
And they never went to pharmacy or hospital.
They will not go to pharmacy.
They dealt with the herbs.
This is the problem. So all this we water down to one element. That is, Africans should humble themselves, come to a round table. Of course, in secret and discourse. I cannot understand when African Summit is going on, you see white representatives coming to attend.
Amazed.
And when the G20 is going on, which black do you see there?
True talk.
Yes. So Africans coming to have dialogue, how they can move forward. Why should whites be invited to that table? No. Why? But we are happy that the white people are there. Can you imagine when Queen Isabel passed away, how many African leaders pay fare just to go and pay homage, condolences, just to sign the book? And you use taxpayers' money to do that. Look at the General Assembly. Africans should not even go because whatever is being discussed there, it is not at a par responsibility of equity. Where you see you don't have a veto power. You just go and have a hollow speech and come.
And even when you talk about the summit, when Western leaders are speaking, our African leaders, that hall is very jam-packed and they are focused with the zenith of attention. But on the other hand, when an African leader speaks, the hall is virtually empty.
Because they see it as hocus pocus. What he is saying, he don't mean it. He's just trying to impress us. And we are tired of that. Our leaders need to go far beyond that. Because look at it. What you are saying that you don't even mean it, it is not coming from your brain. 3 weeks before the General Assembly, you are given a script to study. Some of them will, in fact, go and read it with their eyes down. No emotions.
No emotion.
For us to feel that what he is saying, he knows it. That is not. Only few leaders are doing that. A very good example of this is Robert Mugabe, the former Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe.
May his soul rest in peace.
May his soul rest in peace. He's a genius. And he has no problem in saying the plain truth as it is. But he don't have supporters to support him. Africa needs to support each other. That's what we are lacking. Unless and until we start supporting each other, we shall by no means unite to develop this continent.
It's so interesting. We're driving close to the end of this conversation here on Teledar TV, and that's the Pan-African Drive. Quickly, the first president of all Tanzania, the teacher, Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, before he died, he spoke to the people of Tanzania. I popularly say this to most of my guests ask this question. He says that, Jumbo, kumfutanya yozangu. That is, follow my footsteps. Follow my footsteps. My footsteps in terms of my leadership style and structure, my footsteps in terms of the unifying spirit of the people of Tanzania, regardless of age or tribe or creed, so to speak. If you were to do a survey across the continent of Africa in leadership, which African leader do you think deserve to say, follow my footsteps? Who's leading right?
Yes, the problem of African leaders, if you praise one leader, as time goes on, he's the one that fails you.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
We started praising Paul Kagame. But now he's also entrenching himself to go forward.
Okay.
One of the greatest success of any leader is to create successors. If you cannot create successors, then we will code that as self-interest.
Okay.
You don't want anybody to be like you or more than you.
Okay. In essence, we do not even have an African leader who can replicate that statement correctly.
I don't see it yet.
Quickly, just before we take leave of you, close to the end of this show here, speak to the Gambian populace in their favorite language ahead of 5th December elections, in the essence of the maintenance of peace and stability before, during, and after the elections. Gambia promoting non-violent elections. Speak to your people 1 minute.
Allah baraka bake mbe Gambian kolbe tentulambe jaila meni benjube kang yentida Teledal TV bar memu koto wala mnyinte ko ngata jalinyama suso la denkilota ko fambe fambul nin lafta Gambia ngake fambe fambul Gambia musol be bara la ntol akonyade ntolla banko diatale katum fambe fambul bari fambe fambulo abe bokam bulo konole so nyanta murla bak nga nyomoy nga fangol la miro tuje memu tonyati ngono manyin kambala se Gambia develop no wodam mala satinna andun ku kilimbeje jalba ko yata ako politiko menji amanke fenjawti ameta duniyale ako amanke kukutan bari yellonde nyininka ko kuto yellonde nyininkale pour nyin kamala ka politiko samba ako nimme posino so dala afa kaba kenseng.
It's a beautiful experience having you on the show here today, Mr. Naba.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so dearly. Those of you watching us, we massively salute you for your viewership and support. It's been a Pan-African Drive here with me, Tony Michael Howard, CKA News Socrates. Catch you some other time. Follow us. Bye-bye.
Every time you buy credit or data, that's a speed and win waiting on your MyAfriCell app. 50 megabytes, 100 megabytes, 5 gigabytes of internet data. Sitanga tanga. Credit or data purchases, spin and win rec. AfriCell and AfriMoney, where loyalty pays and the fun never fades.